Shedeur Sanders could actually make $10 million before he even reaches the NFL. Most football fans know his dad, Deion Sanders, but the younger Sanders is quickly becoming his own household name and could make NFL-level money in college, all thanks to barbecue sauce and fried chicken. Let me tell you the crazy origin story behind one of the brightest players in college football, and why Tom Brady chose to mentor him. In September 1989, Deion Sanders made sports history. He became the first man to score an NFL touchdown and hit an MLB home run in the same week. He later became the only man to ever win both a Super Bowl and a World Series, and made the Pro Football Hall of Fame, leaving many wondering if his kids would inherit his incredible athletic gifts. With his first wife, Deion had a daughter, Deandra, and a son, Deion Jr. Later, with his second wife, he had Shilo, Shadur, and Shilo, and sports continue to run in the family. Deandra is the director of communications for a sports management company. Deion Jr. played 3 years of football at SMU. His youngest, Shilo, is a freshman on the Colorado basketball team, and Shilo and Shadur play for Deion on the Colorado football squad. But of all of his kids in the 2023 season, the national spotlight shines directly on one of them, Shedeur Sanders. Even back in high school, Shadur had star potential. At Trinity Christian in Texas, he compiled a 47-5 record, recording the 10th most wins ever at the prep level. He passed for over 12,000 yards and 166 TDs, winning Trinity Christian 3 Texas State titles along the way. Still, many weren't sold on Shadur. 247 Sports listed him as the 37th ranked QB prospect in his class, and 75th ranked prospect in the state of Texas. Regardless, Shadur was still a 4-star recruit with unreal arm talent and agility in the pocket. Of course, colleges also knew who his dad was too, so the scholarship offers came pouring in from big-name programs: Alabama, Georgia, Florida, LSU, Michigan, South Carolina, Tennessee, even Deion's alma mater, Florida State. But on July 13, 2020, Shadur shocked the college football world by announcing his commitment, not to a powerhouse like Bama or Georgia, but to Florida Atlantic. 3 months later, Shadur surprised the football world one more time. After his dad was named the new Jackson State head coach, Shadur announced that he'd change his commitment from Florida Atlantic to Jackson State. And with his dad as coach, Shadur thrived. This wasn't anything new though. Deion Sr. was actually the offensive coordinator at Trinity Christian High School. They just took their father-son show on the road to Mississippi. As a freshman, Shadur threw for over 3,200 yards and 30 touchdowns, leading Jackson State to a conference championship, and winning the Jerry Rice Award for Most Outstanding Freshman in the FCS. But it was his sophomore season where Shadur and his dad put Jackson State clearly on the map. In December 2021, Travis Hunter, the top-rated high school recruit, flipped his commitment from Florida State to Jackson State. A 5-star recruit committing to an HBCU? It was unprecedented, and this was the first time in history it had happened. Hunter played both wide receiver and defensive back, and his arrival told the world that Deion Sanders was transforming the Tigers into a powerhouse. In Shedur's sophomore season, he improved on his freshman year numbers, throwing for over 3,700 yards and 40 touchdowns. He had jaw-dropping performances, like the one in September 2022 against Mississippi Valley State, where the young Sanders completed 40 of 50 passes for a career-high 425 yards and 4 TDs. The Tigers cruised to an 11-0 record, winning their second straight SWAC title, and Shadur firmly placed himself in the conversation as one of the best players in the nation. He finished the season as a finalist for the Walter Payton Award for the top offensive player in FCS football, was named SWAC Offensive Player of the Year, and won the Deacon Jones Trophy for the best player in an HBCU program. Their season ended with the Celebration Bowl in December, and another signature moment for Shadur. At the end of the game, the Tigers were down a touchdown with 4.5 minutes left. The goal was simple: drive 81 yards and force OT, or go home. A calm and collected Shadur refused to lose. The Jackson State offense took every second of those 4.5 minutes, and Sanders capped off the drive with a TD pass to Travis Hunter as time expired. Jackson State would lose in OT, but the world had seen enough. Shedeur Sanders was for real, and he had etched his name into HBCU lore. At the end of the season, Deion announced he'd be leaving Jackson State to be the head coach at the University of Colorado. Later in the offseason, both Shadur and Travis Hunter followed him, signaling a shift in the balance of power in the college football world. Let me pause you right here, because it's impossible to truly appreciate Shedur's story without knowing his dad's. Fortunately, we've done all the work for you, and you can watch Coach Prime's incredible journey right here. Going from one of the best dual sport athletes of all time to a head coach who's completely changed the game. But for now, back to Shadur. In the summer of 2023, the young, promising QB went back to the lab and got to work. He wasn't satisfied with merely being one of the best HBCU players the year before. He was ready to become one of the best players in the nation, period. In the offseason, Shadur either had workouts or connected with a myriad of big names, aiming to soak up as much as he could. Russell Wilson, Geno Smith, Michael Irvin, Terrell Owens, and Tom Brady. In fact, Brady continued to mentor Shadur into the season, with Sanders admitting that Brady texts him after every game. But one man Shadur also hooked up with in the offseason was not a household name: Daniel Colbert Jr. Colbert had been Shadur's quarterback coach since 2019, and they specifically worked on cleaning up his mechanics, shortening his stride, getting his elbow up, and perfecting the little things. Colbert also worked on what he thinks is Shadur's greatest skill: pocket awareness. The young QB doesn't scramble at first sign of pressure. Instead, he can take a step or two, climb the pocket, and can find ways to still make an accurate throw. For fans who didn't pay attention to HBCU football in 2022, the general college football world got introduced to Shadur in Week 1. After bringing 86 new players to Colorado, Deion and his son took on TCU, a team that had just been to the national championship game several months ago. But Colorado didn't back down. On one fourth quarter play, Shadur scrambled to his left, flipped his hips, set his feet with a defender closing in, and threw a strike to an open receiver. Watching from afar, Colbert was proud. It was something they'd worked on over and over, now bearing fruits on the national stage. By the time Colorado finished off their 45-42 upset of the number 17 ranked Horned Frogs, Shadur had thrown for an absurd 510 yards, setting a new school record at Colorado, to go along with 4 TDs in one of the greatest offensive performances in school history. And Shadur did it in his first game, but Tom Brady made sure Shadur kept a hungry mindset and texted him 3 words after the win: "Don't be satisfied." 2 weeks later, Colorado found themselves ranked number 18 in the nation and going up against crosstown rival Colorado State, in a game where Colorado State's head coach had directed some unwelcome comments toward Deion, leading to a record 9.7 million viewers tuning in, ESPN's most ever for a late-night college football game. And Shadur put on a show. With 2 minutes left in the game, the Buffaloes found themselves down 8 and pinned at their own 2-yard line. They'd need a 98-yard drive from Shadur just to tie it. Calmly and confidently, he did exactly that.
He pulls it out, and we're tied! Harrison!
Leading Colorado 98 yards downfield to score the game-tying TD with just 36 seconds left. Shadur threw another TD pass for the 2-point conversion, and the Buffaloes later won it in OT. It was a clutch performance for the ages, and after the game, Shadur decided to give a shout out to his mentor.
At the 2, all I was thinking was Brady mode, that's it. Simple.
Brady mode, Tom Brady mode?
Brady mode, that's it. You left too much time out there.
At the 2, all I was thinking was Brady mode. That's it. Simple. Brady mode, Tom Brady mode, Brady mode. That's it. You left too much time out there. And as Shedur's legend only grows, there's little doubt he'll be playing on Sundays in the NFL one day. But contrary to past generations, there's no rush for Shadur. Deion himself has publicly claimed that his sons, Shedeur and Shilo, are not headed to the NFL draft after the 2023 season. While they have a few months to change their minds, one reason Shadur might want to stay is because of a luxury that Deion didn't have: the opportunity to make serious cash while still in college. With the introduction of the NIL, star college athletes have been in the spotlight even more, and Shedeur Sanders has taken full advantage. As of the 2023 season, his NIL valuation is mind-blowing for a college athlete. It started back in his Jackson State days. Gatorade was one of his first deals, making him the first HBCU athlete to ever sign an NIL deal with Gatorade. He was also the first college athlete to sign deals with Beats by Dre and with Mercedes-Benz. His promotional appearances with Mercedes even earned him his own 2022 EQB SUV. Then, in December 2021, Tom Brady chose 9 college athletes to be the faces of Brady Brand's new apparel campaign, and Shadur, still with Jackson State at the time, was one of them. But Sanders didn't stop there, and went on to attempt something not many have tried in the NIL era: build an entire brand for himself. In 2021, he launched his SS2 legendary brand. In December, he sold his first merchandise, a red sweatshirt with the $2 logo. As Sanders has grown on the national stage, so has his brand. He's often seen warming up before a game with his brand apparel and his signature $2 symbol. In that post-game interview after his dramatic win over Colorado State, guess which hat Shadur was rocking on national television? The Instagram page for his brand has 15,000 followers and counting. And as of September 2023, Shedur's own IG page stands at 1.6 million followers, quickly becoming a marketing machine. And he didn't stop at clothes. In September 2022, Shadur launched No. 2 barbecue sauce, his first retail product. It's easy to see why brands would be lining up to partner with an athlete like him, who has national attention, a famous family, elite play on the field, and a large following off it. In September 2023, Deion, Shadur, and Shilo even appeared in a KFC commercial, and the two Sanders boys signed NIL deals with KFC to make it happen. With all the publicity, it's no surprise that Shedur's NIL valuation is at an estimated $5.2 million. That's the second highest of any athlete in 2023, behind only Bronny James. One Fox Sports analyst believes that Shadur could do even more in the future.
By the way, you see the numbers of these broadcasts, we think of NIL like, oh yeah, he can make a couple million bucks. I think Shadur might be able to make $10 million.
Well, it's the most streamed game in the history.
Keep in mind, the average salary for an NFL quarterback is only about $5 million per year. It's no wonder then that Shadur would consider staying in college, and why the QB would take his time before taking his talents to the NFL. But whenever Shadur does decide to go pro, there will be plenty of teams lining up for his services. Several early 2024 mock drafts predict that Shadur could be a top 10 pick, and could even be the second QB off the board after USC's Caleb Williams. Of course, Shadur could still choose to stay in Colorado for his senior season, so his future is up in the air. Regardless, that future, whatever it holds, is extremely bright for this young man. One of the best QBs in the nation, playing for a team that's taken the country by storm, carrying a name that holds enormous weight in the football world. already owning his own brand with apparel and merchandise. Keep an eye on Shedeur Sanders, because much like his dad, he's prime time.